Welcome back to Josh Does Life. On this episode, I wanted to take a few minutes just to talk about quarantine tanks. And, maybe we can do some discussion. I want to get other people's thoughts on them. There's tons of videos out there about quarantine tanks, so I'm not going to really hit on anything new here, but, I just wanted to put my own thoughts out there about it, and just talk about it a little bit. So if you've been following my channel and have seen the videos about the new aquarium I'm setting up for my son in his room, um, you'll know that I, placed the order for fish. Well, this time I have placed an order for fish through a different website. I've never used this one before. I've always used Live Aquaria. I've never had any issues with them. They've always been great. I went to the website and they were out of stock on several of the fish I wanted for my son's aquarium. So I kind of did some searching and I'm trying a new website. I placed that order Saturday. Today is Tuesday. I got an email today saying they were shipping out today, so they should be here tomorrow. I'm going to do a video tomorrow when they come in of an unboxing and tell you the website that I used and the list of fish and show you what kind of condition they're in, and then we'll also release them in the quarantine tank in that video. So stay tuned for that. For the rest of the video, like everybody knows has followed me so far, I've always been into saltwater fish since I was a little kid. I think I probably got my first aquarium maybe when I was 6 to 8 years old, something like that, did goldfish. I think I won a goldfish at the fair or something like that. It died and my parents wanted to, replace it and give me something else. So started out like that. Over the years, I just kept upgrading. By the time I was a teenager, I wanted to get into saltwater. And from being a teenager on, I've kept many saltwater tanks. At one point, I had a 120 gallon in my basement, a 90 in my living room, and then a 45, I believe, in the formal dining room area. I've kept a ton of aquariums. I've had cheaper stuff. I've had very high-end stuff. I've done the full Kessel lighting, Neptune controllers, the works. I have a lot of experience when it comes to saltwater. It's been a long time since I've done freshwater, so this is kind of starting over a little bit for me, even though all the basic principles are the same. This is the first time, however, that I've attempted to do a planted freshwater aquarium. So, and bear with me with the camera. I'm sorry if it shakes or anything like that. If you watch my channel, my other camera that I mainly use got sent off, so I'm using the GoPro. So behind me, I have set up a quarantine tank. This has always been kind of controversial, I feel. Some videos that you watch, people are saying, you should always quarantine, never put fish in your tank without quarantining. And then some people are saying, you shouldn't quarantine because it's more stressful to the fish, and you might not have it set up with cover for them to hide, or, it's a new tank syndrome, that type thing. I have always been pro quarantine tanks. I set mine up very simplistically. I've almost always used a 20-gallon long. It provides kind of adequate space, everything that I need for fish. I've always used it saltwater, so we're going to try it here freshwater again. I went out and bought all the stuff, so I keep it as simplistic as I can, even though it is a little bit expensive to set up. A lot of times you can go to Petco and things like that, and they have $1 per gallon sales on smaller tanks. So at times you can pick one of these up, a tank itself, for 20 bucks. I think I gave maybe just under 40, maybe it was 35 or something like that for this tank. Then you buy your glass top separate if you want that. I like to put it on there because I've had quarantine tanks in the past and had fish jump out. So that's the only reason I put a top on it. I usually throw just a cheap light on top of it, which I don't have set up on here yet. Other than that, I used to always put a hang on the back filter and run that when I did salt water, as well as some kind of air stone to keep plenty of oxygen in the water. This time I'm doing a little bit differently. I'm doing 2 sponge filters basically. I have the one unit that you'll see in a second has 2 sponges on it, and then one that is a larger single. I've also bought a couple of fake plants and put in there. You got to put a little, cover in there or something for fish to hide in, or they get more stressed. I used to just put cut up and pieces of PVC pipe in there, not cut up, but cut smaller pieces, as well as like 90-degree elbows and things like that. I would just go to Lowe's and buy some various PVC stuff and throw in there for them to get inside and hide, so that always worked out for me before. I'm just doing a little bit different route this time. Should work fine. I don't foresee any issues. So like I said, my fish are coming in tomorrow. We're going to do an unboxing video, and then I'm going to show you, putting them in this quarantine tank and how everything's set up. But I'm going to turn the camera around now, and we'll take a look at what I've got and talk about it a little further. And of course you can see, I guess, my reflection somewhat on there because I have the light behind me, but that's all right. So this is, to me, a very basic setup. I bought a glass top that is made by Aquarium. I think it was maybe $25, I believe, for the top. Like I said, the tank itself is a 20 long, and that means it's 30 inches wide. I believe it's 12 inches back. So, if you've watched my videos, that I'm big into Eheim heaters. I've just used them forever. So even though they're a little more expensive and this is just a quarantine tank, I went ahead and got the Eheim heater back there, so it's running. If you can see without the reflections, I need to bring that light in here actually. I'll put a light on it tomorrow, so when I do another video, you'll be able to see everything better. But I have the dual foam filter there, and then on the other side I have the single larger foam filter. Got a couple of plastic artificial plants. That is a pre-filter sponge from the other tank that's been up and running for a couple weeks now. So I'm hoping, that it has some good bacteria and stuff on it to add to the water. Another fake plant. Here's another, just a tip, or, however you want to take it. I initially, I went to PetSmart that I have here in Anderson, and I was going to buy a stand they had, and I'm wanting to say, it was like $100, something like that. The stands are really expensive for what they are. I went and bought this at Walmart. Somebody put me onto it. I didn't think I'd be able to find, just the right size for it. And excuse the mess, I've got everything kind of laid out here. But this was purchased at Walmart. It is a Better Homes and Gardens brand. Just a little stand cabinet. I'll let you see the side of it. It does go back a little further than needed. You got 2 to 3 inches back there extra, and a tiny bit of space on each side. But for the most part, I think it fits this aquarium very well. So I'm very pleased with it. It's cheap, and it was super easy to put together. Probably the easiest piece of furniture I've ever put together. It's real cheap particle board, but it's sturdy enough to hold the weight. So no issues with that so far.